Hey guys, it's Parsifal. I also go by Will, and I am back with another character babble. This one is actually going to be pretty short just because the character doesn't have all that much development yet. But I want to go through the process I had of creating her, what some of my inspirations were, and why I'm going to be talking about a character who doesn't really have as much um, backstory and development as I'd like right now. So as usual, if you don't want to hear my voice, don't want to hear me talk, that's totally fine. You can just mute me, and totally don't mind if you put on your own music while just watching the speed paint. Totally understandable. For all the others, feel free to stick around and listen to me talk about my OCs again. Um, so the character I am drawing now, in going to be talking about, is my OC Camden Prince, and as you can see from the reference picture, she doesn't have a head. Her head is fire. She is a film noir themed Dullahan who has lost her head, and in place of that, there's just magical fire. Um, Part of this is because I personally like having to draw something where the head is, uh, because it's what I start with. So drawing a character without a head is still a little bit unfamiliar to me, um, and also because I know that generally Dullahans tend to replace their heads with something else in most like legends, I guess. The Headless Horseman is a Dullahan, and he uh, often has a pumpkin head. Or there's a Dullahan character in an anime, Durarara, who just has a helmet for her head. And I know a lot of people tend to draw Dullahans with just like darkness where their heads are if they don't have heads, and that's totally valid. But I was also inspired by ModMad, who creates the webcomic The Property of Hate. And in The Property of Hate, there's a lot of object heads, and ModMad draws a lot of object heads. So I wanted to make something sort of similar to that because I thought it was really cool, and I was kind of inspired by it. And thinking about it and actually saying it out loud, I bet that's where the film noir theme for this character came from as well, because a lot of ModMad stuff also works with themes and tropes of stories and genres and stuff. So there's that. And yeah, so that's generally the concept for why her head is like that. As I said, she is a film noir detective type. I want to go for the femme fatale, neo noir, film noir type of thing. So she's wearing a little black dress and stuff like that, because that's something that I always really liked from film noir stuff, is that sort of like clean LBD aesthetic. And I gave her last name Prince because I wanted to go off of a Wonder Woman theming when I was naming her. And I don't really talk about her all that much, and she hasn't gotten a lot of development. Not because I don't like her story or because I don't have a story for her, um, but because I am definitely have always been a little bit self conscious about this character in particular, just because um, it's sort of unfamiliar ground for me. Not only because I'm not really used to doing object heads, but because I'm not really used to doing like sort of femme fatale detective sort of characters without them feeling like they're know-it-alls, but also because the design is sort of out of my comfort zone. At least it was when I designed her, because she's very pretty and designed to look pretty, because like her design is pretty simple, but she also doesn't have a head, which is where I usually put all the primary features. So aesthetically, her dress design is pretty simplified, but also enticing and hourglassy shaped. and it felt weird to create a character who was basically a headless hourglass shape, because it felt like sort of objectifying. And I also know that pointing out a trope and a problem doesn't make the problem not go away. But I designed her based on things that I enjoyed and that I wanted to have fun with and I want to experiment with. That's why she doesn't have any arms. She has arms that are attached by magical wires, because I want to be more expressive with hands and like try and do stuff with hands that I didn't usually do, and I want to give her more than two hands if I wasn't going to give her arms that they were attached to. And I thought it was also funny because it added into the whole, oh, she can lose her hands just like she accidentally lost her head, because she doesn't know where she put her head, because she's a little bit scatterbrained. And I am definitely aware that I don't have super great representation of female characters in my stories, just because I write mostly masculine characters or non-binary characters. And so I was like, oh, should I be talking about this character? Should I be showing this character? Because it's not great female representation, because I know that, like, it might just look like I'm objectifying another person, another woman character, because, you know, I'm not a woman myself. But I also think that, like, I did create this character and I do very much love her design and I want to draw her more, and I'm not going to draw her more if I'm so afraid about what other people think that I'm not going to actually do anything with her. So that's part of why I'm making this video as well, is because I want to show you guys a character whose design that I made that I like, even if it's simple, just because it has aesthetic pieces that I like. I like little black dresses. I like the simplicity of it. She's got a nice color scheme that I like. It's kind of like the Kane characters that I have, like my character Basileia, and it's a little bit on the nose, but she's a character for, like, my own self-indulgence that I just wanted to make and enjoy. And I don't think that's inherently a bad thing, especially because she's not really made for, like, anyone else's approval. She was made because I had an idea and I wanted to explore it, but I'm not exploring it if I'm too afraid to use her. All this to say, I'm making this video partially because I think that more people should be less afraid of what people think of their work and what people think of, like, judgment, because, you know, everyone is going to have an opinion on your work, regardless of whether you like it or not. And if so long as I can find enjoyment in my own character designs and in my own work, I think that's the most important thing. But yeah, thank you guys for sticking around for this character babble. That wasn't really about a character's personality, because she doesn't have one yet, and I do want to give her one when I feel more comfortable showing her. But that's kind of the point of me making this video, so thanks for sticking around. Hope to see you guys next time. Bye! Well, that's the end of this video. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section, or contact me on any of my social media, which is linked in the description below. I also have my Patreon there if you guys want to throw a monthly donation at me. Thanks so much for your support. I'll see you next time. Bye!